I'm Kieran Moore, the owner and managing director of CKS Projects. We're in the northern Illawarra region in a little beach town called Wombarra. I really enjoy working in this area because of the uniqueness of the coastline and the escarpment in that small narrow strip of land. The builds can be quite challenging and architecturally unique, which I take a lot of pride and joy in delivering. I was introduced to the clients through the architect. He had known the clients previously and he asked me if I was interested in this project. The architect being Mike Vale, we've worked together closely over the years and I've really enjoyed working with Mike, and he does some amazing designs and we've produced some amazing results. So when he brought this project to the table, it was a no-brainer that I knew it was going to be an amazing build and design, and yeah, we went in together and here we are.
So I've had a lot of experience with Kieran with various ways. We've had sort of a long experience, but in terms of the process, working with Kieran is just amazing. One of the key successes in terms of how a project goes, and certainly how this project went, for example, is the way that Kieran can actually say that these are the concerns that we're going to be facing in the entire process. And being very interactive in terms of how those problems become solutions. So it's vital, absolutely vital in a successful project that the builder and the entire team blend in that way.
So this was a custom design home, specifically tailored towards the client's needs and their lifestyle. You would say it's luxury living at its best on the coast. It's not a huge house, but it represented the size and exactly what the clients were looking for. It has 3 bedrooms with the option of a guest room, a guest wing, modest living and dining with really good ocean and escarpment views.
I wouldn't say that their brief was necessarily that complex because they are an older couple who are heading into retirement. But certainly they got a large family. They wanted to have a house that was not too big to maintain, to clean, but also something that would actually give them some ability to expand, to have guests over a period of time, and ultimately to have grandchildren through as well. So there's some parts of the house were designed for that overflow in terms of grandchildren that could occupy, for example, the TV study space at some point. So that was definitely part of the brief. But besides that, it wasn't too complicated in terms of their expectations of the design.
For this site, Mike really wanted to have a home that blended in, nestled into the landscape. The house itself has this just calming sense of warmth, and it wraps around you. With the ocean just right at your back doorstep, the way it was designed and cut into the earth, it really made the house quite unique and a special one to be a part of.
I do not do sculptures. I like to do buildings which are part of the landscape and utilize aspects of the landscape, utilize the rock that you bring up out of the ground, for example, to make sure that the aspects of the land are sort of built back into the aspects of the building. Even almost loosely the choice of recycled bricks. Bricks are fired clay. This house is built on clay. There are some very loose connections which I've always been attracted to in architecture, and so I bring those back into a building to make sure it's part of the landscape, not an object inside the landscape which is saying, "Look at me."
Moving on to the actual construction, there was quite an engineering process in this build. With the proximity to the highway, the RMS got involved with the design and the foundation system. Basically, it made it very difficult to build on the site unless we could guarantee that the structure itself was going to support their road, which seems quite strange, I know, but That was one of the conditions of consent. So it obviously had to go to a specialist engineer to make sure that we could deliver a foundation system to support the structure or support the home that we wanted to build. So in doing that, they came up with an annulus piering system, which is quite unique for a residential building. We got in some specialist piering guys that also were a bit baffled and why they were using such a unique piering system for a residential home, but it was one of the conditions to satisfy the RMS and stabilise the site. So that was quite challenging, and that was quite challenging, and one of the unique things that you just have to contend with when building in this area. The house itself has some quite unique features. One of those being the ensuite bath in the ensuite downstairs that was custom made, and also the main stair void area is one of my favourite parts of the house. It's a very important part of the house as you enter in the front door, and it allows you to transition into different areas of the home. There's a lot of materiality in that one area. We've got recycled brick, we've got the polished concrete, exposed concrete. We've got, that's been softened down with the timber staircase and the timber floors. And we've got this beautiful handcrafted glazed timber joinery that really just brings the area together and gives it sort of that modern industrial look, but a lot of natural light coming through that area as well. So it's quite a beautiful spot to just sit there and stand and enjoy the features of the house. Now that the project's completed and they're moved in, it really allows Peter and Gloria to do those things that was really important to them at the start, like being able to entertain, and also have the additional space to allow the family to come over and stay and spend the time with the grandchildren for years to come.
I think there's one thing I'd wish for the clients is that a feeling that you can get, which I got when I first walked in, half an hour ago to the house, or early this morning, which was that you can stand or sit in this space on a grey, stormy day, which today is, with the waves crashing outside, and you feel comforted. You feel not exposed. You feel enclosed and looked after. And I think that's the aspect I'd want to give to the clients.
This project was successful in many ways, but most importantly, we've been able to deliver the house of Peter and Gloria's dreams, and we know it's a home that they'll truly be able to enjoy, and I'm proud and lucky to be able to help them achieve those goals. And also being able to form that friendship with Peter and Gloria throughout the build is very special.